I'd like to read you a scene from my historical novel, Persian Passion. It's a scene between the wife of Muhammad Shah, Mahd Ulya, who was also the mother of Nasiri'd-Din Shah, and her lover, Ali Khan. Now, it's been said that in order to appreciate the Dawnbreakers, we have to really understand the darkness that they broke through. And this woman certainly personifies that darkness. She was a lifelong enemy of Baha'u'llah and was a prime mover in his imprisonment in the Sea of Sham in 1852. You know, in the Bible, there was a saying, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? Jesus was raised in Nazareth. And my understanding is he came to be raised in Nazareth in order to prove that the light of God can shine in the darkest regions. This is also the case for the current manifestation of God, Baha'u'llah, that he came to Persia because it was one of the most corrupt places on earth. This impenetrable darkness that this character, Mahd Ulya, personified. Now, at this time, in the story of the Bab and Baha'u'llah, this woman, Mahd Ulya, had an incredible reputation as an adulterer. She had actually even had an affair with the cousin of Baha'u'llah, who later became the prime minister, Mirza Aga Khan Nuri. She also was known to have had, or rumored, let's say, to have an affair with her brother. During the reign of Muhammad Shah, she was having an affair with the royal steward of the palace. It became quite obvious, and so Muhammad Shah called her before him, and he said, "Madam, can't you be a little bit more discreet?" He was willing to condone her chronic adultery as long as she could be discreet, but she couldn't. So Muhammad Shah exiled Ali Khan to the city of Kashan. Now, at the same time, the Bab was being invited to Tehran by Muhammad Shah. Muhammad Shah really wanted to meet the Bab, but his prime minister, the Haji, who's known as the Antichrist of the Babi revelation, got the Shah to go on pilgrimage to Kabila, Iraq, so that he could not meet the Bab. Meanwhile, he is who exiled the Bab to Moscow. So at this time in the history, in 1847, the Shah is out of Tehran, the Bab has just been sentenced to Moscow, and Mahd Ulya is trying to maneuver to get her son Nasiri'd-Din on the throne with her lover Ali Khan. Two things I'd like to mention, two words that are mentioned in the scene. Andaruni is the Persian word for harem, the royal harem, and Zuleika is made reference to. She was the famous adulterer in the Old Testament who tried to seduce the prophet Joseph, the beautiful Joseph from the Bible and the Quran, who was put in prison because he refused to sleep with her and she accused him of rape. And so once again, this is 1847, and this is the scene in the royal palace, in the royal bedroom, between Mahd Ulya and Ali Khan. "Poor old Muhammad Shah," clucked Ali Khan, draping his arm over the headboard of the royal canopied bed. "Since when are you an admirer of my husband? I like your husband well enough." "As much as I do, no doubt," snickered Mahd Ulya, "since you choose to make a cuckold of him in his own bed." "Now we just need to make a corpse of him," grinned the exiled royal steward. The First Lady and her lover were lying tucked beneath the duvet of the fluffy imperial four-poster bed in which the Shah himself had lain recuperating before his pilgrimage to Kabila. "To be named royal heir, must not Nasiri'd-Din first be named governor of Azerbaijan?" asked Ali Khan. "You see, you do think ahead. You are clever," grinned the bare-shouldered First Lady, fluffing his bushy beard. "I don't care what Nori says." "Nori? What does that old woman know? Gads, Mally, what did you ever see in him anyway?" "Nori was not always stout, but he was always Nori," rejoined Ali Khan, reaching for the water pipe beside the bed. "Never mind, Nori, he's no longer here. We were talking about my son. I have written to the Shah, pressuring him to name Nasiri'd-Din governor before he returns from his foot cure." "Is that what he's praying for?" "God only knows. His foot, his toe, his legacy. He fancies himself a mystic, but cannot see beneath his own beard. I'm not so sure about that, countered Ali Khan, lighting the hookah pipe. It was clever of him to get rid of that Sayed Bob fellow. Sayed Bob? That was the Haji's doing. The Shah did not even know he was being played. That is my hope now as well, added Mahd Ulya, leaning up on one elbow, that his focus remains on his big toe. But while he is off praying in Karbila, Persia goes to the devil. Why is it that you never pray? She gave him a look. Please. Many women take comfort in religion. I would not walk across the road for religion. Besides, sneered the First Lady, reaching for the hookah, I am not many women. What about Allah? What about him? My mother prays for Allah's will to be done. Well, I pray for Ulya's will to be done. He was such an infidel, chuckled Ali Khan, shaking his head. Have you never sought God's guidance? Mahd Ulya shook her head as she smoked, bubbling the water in the bowl of the pipe. Not, she exhaled, ever. Never? Not even once, he smiled. Why not? Because I might not agree with him, she said, exhaling and handing him the hose. What is the point of depending on someone else? I am no beggar girl. You know that. I take what I want, and I don't wait for it to be handed to me. By heaven, or, she grinned, reaching beneath the sheets, by husband. How soon do you think Nasiri'd-Din would ascend the throne if I sat around praying all day for him to be Shah? Ali Khan exhaled a stream of smoke and set aside the pipe. I see your point, as I see yours. Come, she leered, pulling back the duvet. That is something else I want. Suppose now I had waited for you to divorce your wife, She cooed, caressing him. We'd both be faithfully bored. God's guidance, she scoffed. Just look how wrong he was about adultery. Thou shalt not kill, quoted Ali Khan, returning her caress. Irks me even more. Some people just deserve to be dead. Yes, but hold your horses, cautioned Mahd Ulya, drawing back. I told you, we cannot kill little Abbas. What about the Haji? Haji's presence in the palace is our best argument to the chieftains to back Nasiri'd-Din for the throne. None of them want any more of the same. I do, he leered. She brushed his hand away. I will set up meetings with the war chiefs now that I am back in the capital. I want to be certain, she added, holding him at bay. I have their support as well. During interregnum, it is always the capital where the worst disturbances occur. She threw her legs over the side of the bed and sat up. Relax, urged Ali Khan, stroking her back. We are halfway home. Like a new landowner, he glanced around the royal bedchamber. You can slow down now. Relax, snapped Mahd Ulya, glaring over her shoulder at him. Slow down? How easy for you to say, she snickered, standing up, with your horse saddled, waiting to carry you anywhere. Not anywhere, my love. To Kashan. I am in exile, remember. Not confined to this hen coop and a rooney, she scowled, throwing on her robe, nor forced to be married to a namby-pamby do-nothing whose very odor makes me gag. She began to pace. A husband I can run circles around, but whom I must walk behind instead. You can relax, she bristled. Her face flushed as she turned and tightened her sash. Even in exile, you were free, not forced to attend god-awful religious rites and bow down to death, heaven. When with conjuring, I could command nature. So do not tell me to relax or to slow down, not while I must put aside passion for marriage to a mewling milksop and my son for that Kurdish cow's moon calf. Not to mention my active mind for a passive body. Oh, no, I will always maneuver, she vowed, pacing back and forth, to choose my own bedmate, raise up my own son, and plan my own future, and not behind closed doors, she added with a sweeping gesture, but before the eyes of the world. Soon you will see me rip off this veil, she said, tossing it to the floor. Ali Khan looked on intently. I think you actually lust more for power, he remarked, than you do for love. We all want most what we've had least of, she replied with a shrug, and I have always had men. But even last week in Shimmeron, I felt powerless among the chieftains. How I hated playing the helpless royal consort, she bristled, looking out the window, for those uncouth Khans. They bray about Lady Fatima and her chastity, but they no more want virgins in paradise than they want them in bed. They want flesh and blood trollops in a kitchen apron, not goddesses, and certainly not women with gumption. They fail to bury us alive at birth. They saddle us like mares and ride us at will, their will. But when a woman, come back to bed. You see, she scolded, jabbing the air with her finger. When a woman has grit, they call her back to bed. And if she fails to obey, they brand her Zuleika. Who is she? Do I know her? Mahd Ulya threw back her head and laughed. Oh, Ali, my darling Ali, she smiled, her fierceness fading. What? He asked, looking around. You do not read enough, my darling, she smiled, sitting on the side of the bed. Reading wearies my brain. And to walk in the park, she rubbed his hairy chest, wearies a lame horse. Now, what does that mean? Only that I love you. And stop speaking in riddles. As I love your two strong thighs, she grinned, squeezing one. And your two strong arms. No other part of me? She kissed him. Your two thick lips. What other pair? He asked, reaching for her. Your two eyes, she replied, kissing them. That soon we'll see tribal Khans forcing the hand of their Shah to name Nasiri'd-Din crown prince. At long last, she sighed, resting her head on his hairy chest. I almost cannot believe it. Her black eyes glistened with emotion. Hold me, she whispered. What are you getting so weepy about? He asked, wrapping her in his strong embrace. All is moving according to plan. I'm just being silly, she sighed, curling up in his arms, feeling sentimental. About what? About my lost childhood. Oh, as a girl, I was so unhappy. Well, I'm glad now you're a woman. I will make you happy. And I'm glad you're a man, she replied, pulling his arm tightly around her. But I will make myself happy. As Ali Khan caressed and kissed the Shah's wife, a door opened. It was the side portal to the secret passage that eunuchs referred to as the love tunnel, since it led directly to the royal Anderuni. Saris, as chief black eunuch, often escorted the Shah's consort of the night through this passageway into the imperial bedchamber. On this occasion, however, the African eunuch stood alone. Janabi Ali Khan's horse, your ladyship, is saddled, he announced, and waits in the royal stables. Oh, Saris, sighed Mahd Ulya, burying her face in her lover's chest. So soon? Alas, your ladyship, 'tis time. That's a chapter from Persian Passion between the wife of Muhammad Shah and her lover Ali Khan, to demonstrate what darkness the dawnbreakers broke through.